So I had an interesting dream the other day, and for context, I used to be a militant atheist, right? Like, very against religion and everything, until a few months ago, and I had a spiritual awakening, and basically since then I've been in, pretty decent communication with God and everything. Um, but I've been having this issue with somebody, like, not knowing how to deal with the situation at hand. So I prayed to God and asked him for advice, like if he could help me figure out how to handle this situation, that would be great, kind of thing. Then I went to bed, and it was that night that I had a very interesting dream, and it started off pretty normal, I guess. Like, it started off with the dude and uh, basically addressing the situation to the dude and letting him down softly, I guess you could say. And it went pretty okay. Like, he got hurt, but like he moved on, which was good. Which, that was like, okay, like, cool. Like, when I woke up, I expected that was basically God answering, my prayer from the day before, to kind of lead me in what to do. Then the dream continued, and I was with some people in this house, and there was a lady there, and she gave birth to what was supposed to be a baby. I think, like, they made a deal about it, and like I saw the baby, and it looked premature and kind of black and shrivelly looking. Like, it reminded me of the scene in Harry Potter where Harry goes to the train station and sees Voldemort's like little fragment of his soul that's like curled up under the bench, and he was all like weird looking. Like, it looked like that, which was weird and creeped me out. But anyway, we were at some kind of barbecue or celebration, and I went outside and I grabbed a water hose type thing, maybe to like water some plants in the garden or whatever. And then it was like really stormy outside, and the clouds in the sky were really dark gray and like stormy looking, and there was like a blue light to them and lightning and stuff, and it was really windy. And then gravity kind of turned off, and I just started floating up, and I was still kind of hanging on to the garden hose for a minute, going up, like what was happening. But I looked off into the distance, and I saw like a weird sight. It was like a giant wall. It looked like the kind of wall that you have around a castle, like made of bricks, and it has like the little turret notches on top of it, sort of thing. And there was a giant dragon sitting on it, which was fitting because, it's like how dragons are often depicted, kind of like with castles and stuff. There was a giant dragon on it. It was like red, but kind of purple at the same time. And like it might have been more purpley, but either way, it was a giant dragon. And what was weird was behind it, instead of an actual castle, there was a Walmart, like a really giant Walmart. And it was like the dragon was guarding this Walmart, and it was like really weird. And I let go, and when I let go, I could fly around, which was also really interesting and fun. So that was nice. And I'll go ahead and try to explain what I make of that, because I woke up shortly afterwards and like thought about it and stuff. So I'll give my interpretation now. So I obviously think that the first part was basically God answering my question from the day before to help me understand what to do with the situation. But I think the part after that, we were in a celebration, and somebody had a baby that was like kind of not cool, and I don't know if that was representative of like the birth of the Antichrist maybe, or Satan, or some kind of thing. It might have been. and going outside and the water hose thing, and in my perception, I think that represents me still kind of holding on to this life and like my attachments here and stuff, which once I let go, then I was free and could fly and stuff. And I think, that's something that God teaches a lot in the Bible, that we shouldn't be so fixated on things in this life and materialism, because the riches of heaven is much better than anything that we can have here. So I think that was like symbolic of that, and possibly also of like the rapture, like being raptured by letting go of those attachments and things. And because that had rapture vibes to it, I kind of think, and with the baby and the Antichristy vibes with it, is I think the dragon represents basically Satan or the Antichrist, like the beast, and it's guarding a wall around Walmart, which is, like how a castle would be. So I think it represents that the kingdoms and kings of this world today aren't what they were at the time the Bible was written. Like back then, you actually had just like one king that ruled everything and stuff, and it was for a time like, under God and stuff, like with principles and things. But in the world today, this world is ruled by Satan, basically, or the Antichrist system, beast system, which I think that was like a representation of corporate America, or just like capitalism in general. The whole consumer culture and trapping people into that materialism mindset that keeps them from, basically letting go of this life and accepting that, things here aren't that important. And so I think it said something about, or meant something about, the Antichrist being related to the corporations and the companies. Like, they didn't have the stock market back then, and the ones who control the stock market, the Magnificent Seven, as they put it, like the seven heads of the beast, they're the ones that actually rule the world, because they have all the wealth and the power and the influence to basically make pawns of any quote-unquote kings or presidents or whatever. They're the ones working behind the scenes, and I wouldn't be surprised if they like tweak the stock market just to put favor on who they want to be elected and stuff like that. So I think the dream was a warning that the Antichrist is going to be born out of that stock market, corporate, like, economy system, the consumer culture and stuff, like trying to get people to believe that the only thing that will save them is, giving more power to the corporations and, like just consuming more like money and like leisures and technologies and stuff, like any of that. Like it's I think they're just gonna push people to the point of like giving their souls and bodies over to technology and the big corporations and stuff, just to kind of like quote unquote save humanity by merging with, capitalism and technology and stuff, like the transhumanism movement and stuff. But, the Bible warns against that. God warns against that, because that gets you trapped in this fear cycle. And so I think that's what the dream meant, that the dragon is guarding the economy and the big corporations, and the big corporations and their CEOs are actually the kings of this world. So I think that was a sign that we should be looking in that direction rather than specifically in religious world leaders or presidents or anything like that. unless the presidents are obviously, like, you know, pushing